Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Modiphius Entertainment Week draws to a close as I take a first look at Achtung, Cthulhu 2D20, the Serpent and the Sands. This is written by Richard August, Brad Bell, Jason Brick, Nathan Dowdle, Bill Heron, John Houlihan, Patrick McNally, Merrick Moir, and Mary Takuda. This 288-page hardcover with PDF carries an MSRP of $43, or you can grab just the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG for $16. Should point out, in order to get the free PDF with the hardcover purchase, I do believe you need to order from Modiphius Entertainment or one of their brick-and-mortar partners. All of that said, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Serpent and the Sands for Achtung Cthulhu 2D20. Few things to mention before we get stuck in. First of all, my friends over at Modiphius Entertainment were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. And these days, it's very important that you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page of the Serpent and the Sands, but I do want to give you a good idea for what you're going to find in this campaign guide and adventure collection. Lastly, this is an adventure collection. So if your game master has purchased the Serpent and the Sands, or maybe they're considering it, if you're a player, by all means, I definitely recommend tune out now. Because even though I don't know anything about the adventures in this book, you do see it's in shrink wrap right now. As we take a look through, there are going to be some spoilers, and you don't want surprises ruined simply because you watched this video. Now, having said that, by all means, if your game master is considering picking this up, tell them about this video. That way, they can approach this to make a far more informed buying decision. So let's get the shrink wrap off here, and then we will take a look at the back. Venom, Vengeance, and Victory. It is said you cannot leave Africa. It is always with you, and in this combined guide and campaign book for Achtung Cthulhu 2D20, we present a complete field guide for one of the Secret War's most intriguing theaters, plus an epic 10-part campaign battling the might of the insidious Ophidians. In the Guide to North Africa, you'll find chapters on both the conventional and Secret War, with briefs, adventure seeds, bases, and locations for all major factions in theater. And the centerpiece, a double-page map and guide to Noctewolf's top secret Adlerhorf Eagle's Nest base. Agents can explore new character creation options like adventurer, gambler, and diplomat, plus a host of new North African-themed backgrounds, characteristics, and talents to expand their characters. Discover fresh NPC heroes and villains of North Africa. Then arm yourself with new tools of the trade, including weapons, vehicles, and creatures. Once you've been thoroughly briefed, it's time to tackle an epic 10-part campaign, which takes you from Alexandria to Cairo via Tobruk, visiting lost Alexandrian temples, bizarre oases, sinister caravanserais, and forgotten temples. Dare you foil the machinations of Alam Shalar, a newly awakened Ophidian sorceress who is intent on realizing the destiny of the evolved serpent and resurrecting the long-lost Ophidian Empire? With a climax that plays out on the deadly streets of Sethopolis, the newly arisen serpent capital city, this is a thrilling, heroic, pulp adventure at its finest. And it's going to talk about the features, but we're going to find that out as we dive on in. Oh my gosh, it's the Boy Scouts. Because I see they're in shorts. I know. It's North Africa, but just a quick glance almost look like they're Boy Scouts attacking this temple. So we've got our credits page here, and we've got lots and lots of folks who work together to bring this to fruition. So we've got quite a few different artists as well. So as far as our contents, we're going to have an introduction Then we've got our guide to North Africa. Then we've got the secret war in North Africa. North Africa needs you. I think that's probably going to be the player-facing options. Heroes and villains, so we get some new NPCs. And then it appears that we will get into Rise of the Serpent. Then we have tools of the trade, spells and tomes, and then we have vehicles and creatures. So it looks like we have to deal with the serpent people in this adventure. So it's going to give us a breakdown of each of the chapters. Then we get into essentially a gazetteer about North Africa, Alexandria, Cairo, Sethopolis. We get some adventure seeds. Then we have chapter 2, the secret war in North Africa. Section M in North Africa is a very cosmopolitan affair, reflecting the diversity of the challenges it faces in this imposing theater of war. Section M has maintained a presence in North Africa since its very inception. Alec Taunton identifying it as a key battleground in both the conventional and secret wars. So it also talks about Majestic. I'm going to take a guess. We'll get some information about Chtulhu. In fact, here's their base. Here's we're getting some different factions. The Children of Typhon. The Eye of Ear. Oh, Eye of Ur. It looks like an I-L, not a U. Shihad. North Africa needs you. The secret war continues on a new front, and the agents and operatives that work in North Africa are cosmopolitan and diverse. Local spies, guides, and soldiers are supplemented by international adventurers, explorers, diplomats, and specialists of every description. While armored war rages in the desert, spying, intelligence gathering, and counter-espionage grips North Africa's cities, towns, and major population centers. So we've got the adventurer, going to show us the bonuses to the attributes as well as skills, what their focuses are, different talents for the adventurer, all-terrain, indefatigable, and citizen of the world. We've got the diplomat and the gambler, the guide and the smuggler, and then the spy. So we've got those new character archetypes. And we get some new backgrounds, such as mystic, warrior, free French fighter, desert rat. There we go. Characteristics: blood of Yig, call to mystery, in over your head. If everything would just slow down for a moment, you could finally catch up and get your bearings. But nothing ever seems to do that favor. When you draw your weapon, you forget to take the safety off. When you camp for the night, you lie down on every rock and your tent sags. You're not incompetent. You just need a little more help than the heroes who surround you. If you ever found your true element, things would definitely go more smoothly. I like that. That's kind of cool. We got rugged. So we got new talents like Evil Eye, never give up. You don't give up and you don't let failure deter you. When you fail a skill test and attempt that task again during the same scene, reduce the difficulty of the second attempt and any subsequent attempts if you still fail by 1. Then we get into our heroes and villains of North Africa. This is where we're going to get into our NPCs. So we've got the New Zealand Desert Patrol soldier. We've got some Italian forces here, the infantry officer. They're airborne. Then we got our Chtulhu, Serpent's Tooth cultist, Serpent's Tooth apprentice, Serpent's Tooth's heavy. These fighters trained obsessively in an ancient Ophidian martial art known as Amalt el-Shirir, or sinuous death, handed down through the centuries and developed to grant human serpents greater survivability and provide greater sport. They believe their purpose is to protect their brethren for the awakening of the Ophidians with their lives, if necessary. Strong, disciplined, and skilled, these cultists make formidable opponents. Got the Praetorian, Then we got the rise of the Serpent. The Ophidians are a humanoid race with serpentine characteristics. Created by the Great Old One Yig, they rose to prominence as the dominant species on Earth during the Pliocene era, approximately 2.7 million years ago, when the earliest bipedal mammals had yet to evolve. Humanoid in appearance, they are long-limbed with scaled skin and a head resembling that of a snake. Their size is more varied than that of a human, with examples ranging from 4 feet to as much as 12. Wow, that is a pretty wide range. So we get a history of their empire. Servants of Yig, we get some special rules for the Ophidians. More NPCs here. So these are some of the Ophidian NPCs. Quite a few of those, actually. Griffins. Wow, nice. So we get griffins added to the mix. Tools of the trade. So this is no doubt where we're going to start seeing some additional gear, some additional weapons, probably some vehicles too. Looks like we've got it broken up by faction. Spells and tomes, the spell book of Yig. Rituals of Yig, ancient wisdom, books and tomes. Then we got vehicles and creatures. You know what? I bet I needed to flip the page with the table of contents because I think chapter 9 is going to be our adventure. So it looks as if maybe half the page count is going to be dedicated to the NPCs, player options, various different aspects of North Africa. Here we've got some creatures. So it's vehicles and creatures. And then we get into the adventure. The Serpent and the Sands. There we go. That's where our table of contents is for the adventure. I was going to say, I didn't notice it as I took a peek inside. So we'll have Welcome to North Africa. Mission 1, Dying to Meet You. Mission 2, Tobruk. Mission 3, Oasis of the Veiled Moon. Mission 4, The Jiggurats of Adam Shalar. Mission 5, The Great Waste. Mission 6, The Caravansicle. Mission 7, The Horns of Amun-Ra. Mission 8, A Wild Ride. Mission 9, The Enemy of My Enemy. And then Mission 10 is Rise of the Serpent. And we will also have some handouts. So this is where we're going to get into the adventure. Once again, if you are a player, definitely recommend tune out now. So we're going to get a campaign briefing as well as the goals, some background. I'm going to look to try to see what we have as far as our plot synopses. So Dying to Meet You. It is June 1941, and your agents find themselves in the European city of Alexandria. How they arrived there is left to your imagination and devising, but myriad plausible reasons could have summoned them to this ancient port. For military characters like soldiers, commanders, and infiltrators, the simplest explanation could be they were posted there by Section M. They might have been dispatched in response to a critical situation developing in the Desert War and sightings of both Black Sun and Nachtwolf forces in theater. Boffin and occultist characters may be drawn by the region's rich history and mystical traditions. Con artists and investigators by the intrigues and mysteries which have always swirled around this part of the world. So it looks like things are going to get off and running by way of a note from an old friend. Then we got Tobruk. Following the shocking death of Aisha Aziz in the battle against the Serpent's Tooth, the agents report in, giving Section M a chance to follow any leads. The agents now have a few days to rest and recuperate, review their own findings, and do some background research of their own. The bustling city of Alexandria has plenty of contacts, resources, and libraries for the agents to explore, and they may be able to dig up some rumors and legends about the mysterious Serpent's Tooth cult, which will give them the first clues toward the journey. So it looks like the player characters are going to have a combat encounter with some Italian troops. Now we got Oasis of the Veiled Moon. Having escaped Tobruk with Bruce Taylor in tow, the agents return to Cairo to resupply and secure transportation. Taylor and a local guide will then accompany the team through a particularly harsh and treacherous stretch of desert known as the Great Sand Sea. Looks like the players are looking for a ziggurat. Looks as if we're also going to have some combat encounters with some of the Serpent's Tooth. Then we have the ziggurat of Alam Shalar. After Bohabo has been appeased and with a little time for rest and recovery, the agents can now focus on their main mission, reach the ziggurat and discover what happened in the shadows of this recently unearthed mausoleum. Sounds pretty fun so far. Next, we've got the Great Waste. After the harrowing discoveries at the ziggurat, the agents find themselves in a situation less fraught with violence and horror, but no less lethal. Now they must face the perils of the desert alone, stranded with few supplies and no transportation. No wonder it's called the Great Waste. I would take a guess maybe in this adventure, the player characters will have some dealings with some of the locals, maybe to help them out. The caravanseral of 1,000 fragrant sighs. By whatever means, the agents have made their way to the caravanseral of 1,000 fragrant sighs. They can see the swaying fronds of date palms peek over the edge of a valley in the sand. Nestled in the wide hidden basin is a natural spring ringed by olive trees, date palms, and some scrubby brush. Small creatures rustle in the foliage and call to each other. The air has a refreshing hint of humidity to it, and the odor of growing, living things greets them. So, looks like the player characters are getting closer to the movers and shakers of the Serpent's Tooth. As you can see, these adventures are broken up into acts because Achtung, Cthulhu 2D20 is a scene-based role-playing game. Here we've got the Horns of Amun-Ra. The team have discovered the location of the Temple of Stars to the northwest of Siwa in the Great Sand Sea. Accompanied by their Elnim guides, the agents must first attempt to reach the temple, then evade its many guardians, traps, and hazards, and secure the Scepter of Yig before Alam Shalar claim it. Bum, bum, bum. If you are not overly familiar with Achtung Cthulhu, it is a 2D20 system from Modiphius Entertainment. It is relatively crunchy. It is a crunchier application of the 2D20 system. It's not crazy complex, though. So here we've got Mission 8, A Wild Ride. After their setback at the Temple of Stars, the agents need to regroup. Alam Shalar has captured the Scepter of Yig. Boo! And has threatened to raise the lost serpent city, Sethopolis. And after that, even more submerged cities across the entire continent. But where to begin? Shalar and her retinue have escaped, leaving little trace. It's like that was kind of a short act there, short mission, I should say. Mission 9, the enemy of my enemy, is obviously enough, my friend. Given that the agents find themselves prisoners at the start of this mission, a normal mission briefing is unavailable. However, the first obligation of any prisoner is to try to escape. When escape proves impossible, what will the agents try next? Well, are they going to try to possibly make a deal with some of the baddies? Could be. Then the finale, Rise of the Serpent, freshly arisen from the sands, the city of Sethopolis shimmers in the distance. Alam Shalar and her cohorts are already closing in on the complex of minarets and monoliths of hexagonal sandstone. However, centuries in hibernation have not treated Scythopolis kindly, and a malfunction in its gargantuan infrastructure means it is highly unstable. Ooh, so a big showdown with a city that is possibly falling in around the player character's ears. Nice. And that is going to finish up our adventure campaign. I think we've got some handouts to wrap up with. Yep, just a few. All right, so that is a look inside Achtung, Cthulhu, the Serpent and the Sands from Modiphius Entertainment. Of course, I will have a review of this adventure campaign in the not-too-distant future. I've got to say, this campaign looks mighty interesting, and I am looking forward to diving on in and checking this out. That brings Modiphius Entertainment Week to a close. Of course, I have been tackling Modiphius Entertainment releases all week long, so stay tuned. I've got reviews on the horizon, as well as some more first looks at Modiphius content. That is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell, because it'll not only let you know when I upload videos such as this first look, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for our latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and until I see you next time, here's hoping all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.